Hello and welcome to episode 452? 453 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is the first recording of 2024, but we are still in December 2023 in-game. It's Tuesday week 1 December 2023. Yeah. We're continuing the build to the Holiday Hell show. And tonight we've got a big main event. It will be not Roman Reigns, it'll be Warden defending the ECW Championship in a rematch against Dolph Ziggler. We've got Adam Cole taking on Kyle O'Reilly, a WrestleMania 38 rematch, and a whole lot more. So without any more further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's show. This should have been better than this. Why is this? Apparently there's a lack of psychology in this match. But the God Kyle O'Reilly, of course, it still gets a blue rating because, you know, Kyle O'Reilly. But it's, yeah, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. We set it up last week, and it is Adam Cole who picks up the win over the God tonight because Roderick Strong, I imagine the match is going on there. Kyle O'Reilly comes out without Roddy, like he wants to do this single stuff, and then, you know, him and Cole are going at it. Then we just hear Roddy come out over the mic going, Kyle, and he's trying, like, he comes out to cheer him on, and that ends up distracting Kyle O'Reilly, and then Adam Cole hits the last shot, pinning Kyle O'Reilly in 1840 to defeat him. 91 for Adam Cole, and of course Kyle O'Reilly, the God, outscores him, even though Adam Cole is a franchise player, and Kyle O'Reilly's capped at 77 pop, but of course he's so godly that he still outscores Adam Cole. Yeah. Then come backstage to the press booth. The television champion ZSJ is with Mackenzie Mitchell, and Mackenzie says, ZSJ, you know, last week in the main event we saw Buddy Bloody Murphy pick up the victory in 2 out of 3 falls, defeating Zergus, and I have it on authority from Mr. Heyman that victory in that main event from Buddy Murphy has entitled him to a shot at the television championship, and he will be your television championship challenger at Holiday Hell. And ZSJ goes, I don't care who it is, Mackenzie, you know, I'm a fighting champion because I'm the best damn technical wrestler on this show. Last week it was that big idiot Wes Lee. It's going to be, at the pay-per-view, it's going to be Buddy Murphy, Buddy Bloody Murphy, whatever you want to call him, Bloody Dickhead, I call him. But tonight, the ZSJ Television Championship tour continues. I'm going to defend my championship once again in an open challenge against the first person to come up here and look at me funny. That person is Andrade. I've called him Andrade Cien Almas again, because I just think that's a good name. And I'm recording this at 20 to 10 on New Year's Day, roughly 4 hours before the start of Raw, where Andrade will probably he'll be back in the company by the time this has gone up, most likely. And I'm sort of expecting him to have that name again, so I'm going to give it back to him. But yes, it will be ZSJ versus Andrade Cien Almas tonight for the ECW Television Championship. We then got to the ring, and Demoff comes out. Demoff's doing her thing. You know, she's dancing, she's getting all fired up. And we wait in the ring, and now her opponent comes out. The opponent is Ruby Riott, but it's not the Ruby Riott we know. She comes out, she's got like, she's not the Ruby Riott we know. She's like dancing her way to the ring. She's got a blonde wig on and she's all happy and she's just like dancing her way down as a fan favorite. And she grabs the mic and she's like, woo! Yeah, you know, cheer, let's go. Ruby, Ruby, Ruby. Ruby. And Demoff sort of like looked at her funny. She goes, what's the matter, you know? I've just come here to, you know, party and have some fun with the WWE Universe here in the Bradley Center. You know. Yeah. Now it's time for me and Demoff, you know, the other great, hot new young rising women star here on ECW, to have a good old grand time, a fun time in front of the WWE Universe. And she's wearing, like, neon colours, like, ridiculously, like, a bright gear. And then the bell rings, And she starts, doing fun babyface stuff. But after about a minute or two, we slowly see the mask begins to slip. And she, is being, more methodical. And, cheating a lot. Ramming her head against an exposed turnbuckle or something. But, between the moves, she's still, all happy-go-lucky and dancing, trying to get the crowd to get all fired up. And then, in the end, after, I don't know if I would do blood, but if it happens, it happens, of course. But we really want to send home that, this is a very deranged Ruby Riott. And in the end, she does win with the Riot Kick in 11:48. She pins her and she celebrates, music's blaring. She's happing and skipping around the ring as we leave the Muffin in a beaten heap in the ring. She goes, yeah, you like that. You like that, see? You love me. So, yeah. Very odd behaviour from Ruby Riott here tonight. They then cut backstage, and the Liberty Champion Jade Cargill and Malcolm Bivens pull up. Of course, Jade, we've established, can float, is the Liberty Champion. She can float by proxy of that. And Bivens has that manager's license, so he can float as well. And, yeah. She, walks up to the arena, she goes, champ's privilege, I can come here, I can beat the competition across all three brands. I'm already undefeated here in WWE. I'm going to keep that up. And she's approached by Liv Morgan. And she goes, feels like a bad time for you to show up on my show, with that championship, bringing another prize into my possession. Because, I'm looking to claim gold to head into 2024, and I can't think of a better thing to do than take your championship and your undefeated streak. And Sonya Deville walks in, she goes, well, what makes you think you're next in line, Liv, You've been losing a lot lately. If anyone should be next in line for that Liberty Championship, it should be me. The one championship I'm yet to win here in WW. And then, that leads to Bivens going, you both want to fight that bitch Jade Cargill. Well, tonight, how about we do Liv Morgan versus Sonya Deville, and the winner will get the honor of losing to Jade Cargill at Holiday Hell. And Jade Cargill's next challenger for the pay-per-view will be determined tonight when Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville go one-on-one. We then see a pre-tape. It's Shotzi and Scarlett. They're sort of filming. They did the actual YouTube show on the actual YouTube channel, where they went to all the haunted houses and shit. It's shot in that style, but they're going to Gigi Dolan's childhood home, and Gigi's with them and showing them all around. And it ends with the challenge being laid down. Gigi challenges JC Jane to a rematch. After what she did in front of her own brother. There's only one place to settle all these differences between them. And it's not in the ring in a double count out. It should be a match where there is no rules. Gigi versus JC. Inside House of Horrors. Yeah, that's going to go down at Holiday Hell. The second ever House of Horrors match. JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. Should be a hoot, to say the least. 92. Zack Sabre Jr., him and Kyle O'Reilly. That match is eventually, that's going to be the greatest match in the history of TEW. Because ZSJ is very quickly becoming a god himself. He does defeat Andrade here. He, does a cradle pin on him after Damian Priest comes out and distracts Andrade. And he makes defense number 2 of the ECW World Television Championship. 92 for Zack Sabre Jr., 77 for Andrade Cien Almas. And then after the match, the Grand Jury boys get in the ring and they beat up Andrade. Leave him laying. And Priest is probably giving it because, he did pin Warden a couple of weeks back. I can't remember, I think it was the first show after High Voltage. He did pin Warden, who is now the ECW champion. So, he probably still thinks he's next in line for a title shot, but he's stuck in trying to take care of Andrade right now, so, yeah. And he's like, you're all alone, Andrade. You've got nobody. Then cut back to MVP. It's just MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Damon Kemp. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've noticed here tonight that Primetime Ronnie Hughes, one half of the ECW Tag Team Champions, is not with us here tonight. Now, don't be long. It won't be too long before Primetime Ronnie Hughes is back on the ECW television screen. And he was ready to set and dominate 2024 alongside the rest of the Hurt Business. But unfortunately, as of right now, Primetime Ronnie Hughes, he's not cleared to compete. So, I heard Adam Cole and those Fritz brothers and the Paragon Boys, they wanted a shot, to live up to their family name in a time when that family name's in the spotlight. Well, I say, if you still want to fight, we accept your challenge to an ECW Tag Team Championship match at Holiday Hell. But unfortunately for you, with Primetime Ronnie Hughes on the shelf, the Hurt Business will be defending those championships on that night. But it won't be Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes, because you'll have to face the lethal weapon, Damon Kemp, and his championship partner, the almighty Bobby Lashley. So yeah, Ronnie Hughes, unlike Florence, this is a legit injury. He got injured on a house show. He got a damaged Achilles tendon. He's out for like 35 days. Which I don't deem enough to vacate the belts, especially when I can just sub Bobby Lashley in. So, their defense of the pay-per-view against the Fritz brothers is going to be Lashley and Kemp against them two, and then he should be back like a week or two after that. So, yeah, I don't deem that worthy of stripping the belts, so we can just sub Lashley in for the match of the babe. Matt Cardona, Chelsea Green, Kurt Hawkins come out. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, the king of extreme, the extreme god, returns to the Bradley Center. Now, you're all up in arms with what I did to your hero, Rob Van Dam, recently, and I'm not going to stop with him, because I need to prove once and for all that the greatest ever legend in the history of ECW is not one of your Attitude Era heroes. It's me, okay? And now, I'm going to have a chance to redeem that once again at Holiday Hell, when I face another one of your ECW legends. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sabu. Out comes Sabu. Sabu he's coming out, and he's going to be the next ECW legend that is going to face Matt Cardona. And that's they just sort of end with a stare down, Cardona says, I'm going to put you down, old man, or some shit like that. And he walks out. So yeah, there's a match for this pay-per-view's already looking like it's got one hell of a fucking card. It sure is a single brand pay-per-view. It's got House of Horrors, Gigi Dolan versus JC Jane. And it's got Matt Cardona versus Sabu. So we're ending. That's literally going to also be the final show of 2023, by the way. Because I'm gonna skip a week to replicate the holiday week off, and to cut down on time before I can catch up to real life. Cora, pre-tape, she's talking about her win last week, and I've made it perfectly clear that breaking away on my own was the greatest decision of my career, because now there's nobody holding me back. Bayley, she's having a bit of a friendship crisis right now over on Raw, Can Sasha trust her? The answer is no, because Bayley only cares for her own ego. And Dakota Kai, she's proven what a backstabbing bitch she is. Whereas me, I'm just living my best life, and my best life involves challenging and taking that ECW Women's Championship from you, Julia. So if you've got the guts, I'll see you at Holiday Hell, and we can finally crown a new ECW Women's Champion. So yeah, another match announced for the pay-per-view. Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade against Julia for the ECW Women's Championship. Speaking of pay-per-view matches, another one is officially set right here. Liv Morgan defeats Sonya Deville in 11-13 with Oblivion, which now puts her on a collision course with Jade Cargill for the Liberty Championship at Holiday Hell. 66 for Liv, 76 for Sonya. And yeah, it is Liv Morgan challenging some Jade Cargill. Not much else to say about that one. Next week, though, we have a couple of matches set for the show, including this, a tag team match. Andrade Cien Almas and a partner of his choice, if he can find one, will team up to take on the Grand Jury's Emerson Frost and Ken Kobain. So we'll have to see if Andrade can find a partner there. And also, the almighty Bobby Lashley and the Paragon's Bobby Roode are having a Bobby off next week, as Lashley and Roode go one-on-one ahead of the ECW Tag Team Championship match at the pay-per-view. And speaking of the pay-per-view, we now know quite a lot of matches for that show, including ECW Women's title on the line. Cora Jade and Julia, she's accepted that challenge, and what a match that's going to be for the ECW Women's title. As well as House of Horrors makes its long-awaited return. Gigi Dole and JC Jane finally get to settle the score after their breakup, as they go to, I guess, Gigi's abandoned childhood home for the second ever House of Horrors match. And then we have one that could steal the show. ZSJ and his new challenger, Body Bloody Murphy, for the ECW Television Championship, as well as former ECW Television Champion Matt Cardona takes on Sabu in his quest to remain the greatest ever ECW legend. And now we have another championship match official. Liv Morgan challenges Jade Cargill for the Liberty Championship. And last but certainly not least, announced tonight, the Fritz brothers will get their shot at becoming tag team champions when they take on the Hurt Business' Damon Kemp and the almighty Bobby Lashley filling in for the injured Ronnie Hughes. All that and more at ECW Holiday Hell in just over 2 weeks, yes. 86 rated main event. I'll take that. It only goes 14 minutes, but it is Warden who defeats Dolph Ziggler with a powerbomb to make defense number 1 of the ECW World Heavyweight title. 83 for Warden, 82 for Ziggler. And then after the match, Warden issues a handshake to Ziggler. Ziggler accepts the handshake. He sort of raises Warden's arm. And then when Ziggler turns around, he's cut in half by a spear by Roman Reigns. Warden also then tries to fight the Tribal Chief, but he throws hands and he takes Warden down with a spear as well. But he continues the assault on Ziggler specifically. And he tosses Ziggler to the outside, rips the announce table hood off, and slams Dolph Ziggler through the announce table. And just continues to wail on him with a chair. And he gets back in the ring and he wails on Warden with a chair as well. He then takes a seat, sits on the chair in the middle of the ring, looking down at the downed Warden and Ziggler, who's probably being checked on by doctors on the outside. And he picks up that ECW championship and he hoists it in the air to end the show. 87. Yeah, that's pretty fun. A lot of movement towards the pay-per-view here tonight. 6 matches, I believe, announced for the show this week. And yeah, what matters more though is what you thought of the show. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown with the follow-up from the announcement at the end of this last week's show about Armageddon Hell in a Cell making its return at Armageddon next weekend. See you then.